I am Lilly Jose from St. Mary's Church, Noida. I am going to speak about Ruth, who is a shining example of all the positive feminine qualities and is a role model for all women to emulate. Today, we are living in a world where power, position, etc. are qualities that are recognized, and often qualities like loyalty, devotion, sacrifice, etc. are considered weak and inferior and often neglected. But we know these are the qualities that are life-giving and can be got by a person with a deep devotion to God. That is the reason why Ruth is one of the first books in the Bible to be named after a woman. Ruth was a Moabite woman married to an Israelite who had migrated to Moab due to famine in his homeland. The word Ruth means friend, loving. When her husband died at an early age, she could have chosen to go on her own way. But contrary to that, true to her name, she chose to accompany Naomi, her mother-in-law, back to Israel, which was a foreign land to her. Forgetting her own security, comfort, and happiness, Ruth accompanied Naomi, which depicts her as a model of loving kindness who placed others before self. Ruth was a woman of deep devotion, dedication, and true love, qualities any woman would like to have. Since Naomi was also a widow without any sons, she could not have helped Ruth to have any children. Besides, Israel was hostile to Gentiles and would have added to her worries, but her heart would not allow her to abandon her elderly mother-in-law, who she thought needed her help and care. Her intentions were pure. Ruth is a challenge to young women who consider the parents of their husbands as a burden. Young Ruth's attitude is more heroic and commendable because her concern was not for herself but for her elderly mother-in-law. Another exemplary quality was a deep devotion to God. She was a Moabite woman who considered Naomi's God as her God. Due to this, God's favor was on her and she was able to overcome many obstacles. God richly rewarded her for her loyalty with blessings beyond her imagination and expectation. Psalms 145:19 says, "He supplies the needs of those who honor him." God directed her to the field of Boaz, who was inspired to be good and kind to her and eventually to marry her. And God enabled her to rise to a high position and blessed her to have a son who became the father of one of the greatest kings of Israel, King David. Romans 8:28 says, "All things work together for good for those who love God and those who are called according to his purpose." Ruth is a classic example for all women to learn from because Ruth, though a Gentile by birth with no rights, through grace and redemption, becomes one of the 4 Gentile women to have a part in the genealogy of our Lord and God, Jesus Christ. Thank you.